What's up, guys? Welcome back. It's your boy, Johnny Go Vroom. Look, I'm gonna be real with you. When I found out that this wheel was an Extreme Bull release, I mentally filed it under the not for me category. But after 1,000 miles of jumping, bonking, city abuse, and even hitting 48 miles per hour on a 14-inch wheel, I can say it straight with my chest. I was wrong. This wheel slaps. What up, my guys? Welcome back. Thank you so much for vibing with me yet again. If you're new to the channel, I started this channel because EUCs got me away from the demon alcohol, but seriously, it's been like 4 years and going strong, not even thinking about another drink of alcohol. Got me away from the toxic dating cycles, and it always helps me with my depression because, let's face it, the world is a little stressful, and every time I get out on the EUC, I feel a little bit lighter. And I figured, you know what? It's worth trying to spread that to more people. As Sean says, spreading the uni gospel. So here I am, and if that sounds like a great idea to you, then just please like, subscribe. There's even a member section if you like hearing me talk that much. Seriously, lots of great content. I was absolutely sure I was gonna hate this wheel. Small diameter, tiny footprint, and after what the Begode Falcon did to my knees, I was convinced that this would just be another 14-inch regret machine. In my head, I had already filed the rocket under whatever, scrapbook wheel, ride, review, move on, that sort of situation. And to make things worse, this isn't even a mainline Begode product. It's an Extreme Bull product, the offshoot brand, so my expectation was simple. If Begode themselves couldn't get a 14-inch wheel right, there is no way the side brand is going to outperform the parent company. But then something wild happened. Mile after mile, hop after hop, bonk after mother-loving bonk, the rocket didn't just change my opinion. It completely rewrote it. And even though it rattled, you know, there was loosened bolts and it behaved like it was built inside of a garage during a lunar eclipse. I have somehow fallen completely in love with this wheel. Now let me back up for a second because it matters. When I tested the Begode Falcon, my knees hurt immediately. The foot fatigue was instant, and before I even left the parking lot, I knew. Yeah, this is gonna take more from me than it's going to give. Sure, I mean, it was powerful, but not comfortable, not sustainable, not something I'd ride long term. It was more like a strong pogo stick made of hatred, a deep, vile hatred. So when the rocket showed up, I was already mentally done. My expectation was zero. In reality, it was completely different. My mind was blown. Within the first few miles, I knew something was off, but like in a good way. I hit my first curb, landed clean. No pain, no knee sting, no shock up the spine. I bonked sidewalk edge, still smooth. You know, I hit a dip where the Falcon would have punished me, and the rocket just floated through it. And suddenly the internal monologue, it activates, and I'm like, no way. This shouldn't feel like this. Not on a 14-inch wheel. Not from Extreme Bull. Not at this price point. But it did. During my usual antics, you know, just hopping off curbs, jumping, bonking, bounding, even approaching stair sets, I fully expected the rocket to fail at every turn. But instead, I was so pleasantly surprised by how ridiculously resilient the suspension was, how playful the wheel felt, and how endless the torque seemed to be. And the wild part? The C40 motor has always felt smooth enough that the tire never lost traction, no matter what I threw at it. It just felt like a completely different animal. I wasn't just impressed, guys. I was blown away. I was flabbergasted. And so this is where I really had to change my thinking. The rocket suspension, it outclasses bigger, heavier, more expensive wheels that cost almost double what the Falcon cost. And not just in the moment, but also in recovery time. See, the Falcon, it had me aching for days. The rocket, it felt like any of the bigger wheels. And listen, like, I'm not 22, guys. I'm turning 42 this November. I'm trying to ride for a long time, not just a good time. But if I can get both, that's the sweet spot. That's the rocket. Now, I'll be real with you guys. This wheel does not come from the factory with Loctite in its vocabulary in the least. The bolts, they walk out, pedal bolts, hanger bolts, handle bolts. Even my headlight vibrated loose around mile 800. But here's the thing. I also don't baby my wheels. I ride the shit out of them. So the fact that I've been riding this thing for 1,000+ miles, jumping, bonking, hopping, city abuse, guys, no cutouts, that matters to me more than the bolts that need checking. I mean, some wheels don't loosen bolts because they're not capable of enough fun to shake them loose. I mean, they just riding pedestrian as the day is long. The Rocket shakes everything loose, and that's fine. That's fine. That's what happens when you have fun. That's what happens when you're bouncing around, But I would check it from the factory, guys. I would check it from the factory because that Loctite situation is a real one. Just a quick word about weight. It's really light. It's light enough to bonk or jump with ease, but it's also heavy enough to stay planted at speed. And for me, that's the best formula in a small wheel that has ever been figured out, ever in the history of figuring it out. The Rocket did it. Now, I don't know how many wheels that you guys have opened up. If you've opened up a Gen 1 Master, then you were in for a shock when you first opened it up. If you opened up in motion wheels back in the day, then you honestly saw some pretty nice, neat organizing. The Leaperkim wheels, the OG patent that I had, I mean, it looked pretty well laid out on the inside. I mean, but the Gen 1 Extreme Bull stuff, that stuff was rat's nest stuff. It looked like they just took lengths of wires that, and connectors that were part of other, schematics and just kind of jammed them in there. And it was just like a rat's nest sort of situation. But when I opened up the Rocket, just to check things out, I was blown away. I expected the usual sort of extreme bull chaos, spaghetti wires, like the Bogode pedigree, random taped plugs and a motherboard kind of just floating in the void with a little charger board on top. And instead, it looked clean, guys. It looked organized, professional. It looked ridiculous. It was designed on purpose. It was not an accidental design. This is all super nice. The connectors were perfect. The wiring was neatly routed with the cables terminating at what seemed like ideal lengths. There was nothing extra. The motherboard tray was beautiful. It was actually gorgeous. And seeing it in person, when I opened it up, it changed my confidence in the wheel. If inside of the wheel, inside of the motherboard looked this intentional and clean, then somebody at Extreme Bull definitely cared about the production of this wheel. And that was the moment that I stopped thinking of it as like a cheap, fun kind of, run aroundy sort of thing and started thinking of it as a real performance machine, like really built with respect and intention. And guys, I can't tell you how great it feels to think about the thing that I'm riding that way, because Lord knows you don't want to be going, 40, 50 miles an hour on a wheel, jamming, and having any lack of confidence in the experience, and any lack of confidence in the electronics. You just want to be able to have fun and just rip and just ride. Now, obviously, the first thing that you think about, or at least me, when I saw that this was 168 volts and it was a 14-inch wheel, I was like, and it was a C40 motor, I was like, man, this thing is not going to maintain traction under any circumstances. I already knew that the torque was going to be out of this world. I knew that there was no situation that, as long as that tire would hold on to whatever the surface was, I knew for a fact, look at how fun, man, this wheel is so much fun. I knew for a fact that there was nothing that you would not be able to climb. I knew that you'd be able to climb whatever surface that you could get a hold of. And sure enough, like with this wheel, the torque is absolutely absurd. I mean, the climbing is bananas. I have not hit a hill, like a ramp, any urban incline that I could not climb. And honestly, dudes, there are videos of people in China scaling what looks like literal walls, like straight vertical walls with this dang wheel. It's absolutely insane. I mean, the small diameter tire plus the C40 motor plus 168 volts. I mean, dude, it's a mountain goat. It's an ibex. It's going to climb straight vertically. That's just what it does. So if you're the sort of person that like lives off of torque, you like that stop go, that power on demand, then this wheel is going to absolutely deliver it in every single circumstance. It's how I'm able to like boost off of these little lips that you see me boosting off of all the time, getting my little jump on. I mean, there's so much play in the suspension. So much play in the suspension that you can literally make a trampoline out of any situation that you come across. It's the most fun that I've had on a wheel this year. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Like, it allows for complete expression of rider in the instant, in the moment. I absolutely love it, guys. I absolutely love it. To be honest, it's overpowered for real life. and just as much torque as it has. Like that torque works the same both ways, guys. It's absolutely ridiculous. So it's like, if you want to brake, you can completely brake hard enough to slide this wheel out. I honestly think one of the most attractive things about the Rocket is that it goes, and this is going to sound funny to you guys, but the speed that it can go from 20 miles an hour to 0 and then back to 20 miles an hour in seconds is so exhilarating. And that matters for your city riding, for your control around other people, for being able to keep yourself safe, being able to stop and then accelerate again in an instant without a blink, without a problem. Especially, like I said, in that dense urban riding sort of situation, it turns your reflex into an instant response from the wheel. And the Rocket feels almost like it's reading your thoughts in that sort of situation. I mean, it's absolutely absurd. The wheel is just absurd. And, speaking of the torquing and that, if you guys are familiar with the pendulum where, you're stopping and you're, kind of rocking backwards and forwards and you're kind of idling in a very small space, that's the pendulum. And that is so much an affect of the center of gravity, right? Like how much you can tie in the wheel's center of gravity with your own. And if the wheel is too heavy, if the wheel is too big, maintaining that center of gravity sensation is a lot more challenging. But because of the size of the wheel, the profile of the wheel, the way that the vertical travel and balancing of the wheel works, it makes it to where that it's literally one of the easiest wheels I have ever pendulumed. The back and forth balancing is just super easy, stalling super easy. Riding backwards on this wheel, it feels natural. You don't feel like it's getting away from you. You don't feel like it's a challenge at any point to maintain that control, that deliberate control as well. Not necessarily just like, okay, here we go, and you just off. Like you can really manipulate turns even while you're going backwards on this wheel with great ease. It doesn't feel like a vehicle. It feels more like a wearable instrument, if you will. So I got to tell you, I had this crazy moment when I was riding this wheel. One of the first few times that I took it out and I decided that I wanted to open it up. And I was like, all right, we're going to push the dilithium crystals as far as we can push them and just see what happens. And man, guys, I completely cheesed when I looked down as I'm hauling and I'm monitoring the stats and I see that I'm getting 48 miles per hour and I see the 65% PWM and I think in my head, I'm like, wait, that cannot be right. This wheel still has tons of headroom. And I knew it was an anomaly because I felt that the wheel itself just had that headroom still. I felt the motor had that much wind out left in it. Guys, on a 14-inch wheel doing motorcycle numbers, and the motor just had more to give. It said, hey, Johnny, I can still give you more. And I'm like, oh my God, going 48 miles an hour on this wheel is like going 62 miles an hour on the race. The adrenaline was so high. I was so lit. It was so awesome, and it's like, I don't ride that fast all the time, but knowing that I can do it, dudes, it completely rewires your brain. It's like, oh my God, you just feel so much more confident in all of the situations that you could be in.
Johnny, I don't know what you're thinking about, bro. Sitting here talking about going 48 miles an hour and going 62 on your race when you're constantly coming down on other people for, doing dangerous things. And it's like, dude, do you even think about what you're saying when you say this stuff, bro?
Word. Zero love, bro? Zero love? I thought I knew you better than that, Johnny. All right, look, man, I'll explain it to you, okay? I don't mind people going fast. I don't mind you exploring the upper limits of what it is that you ride and exploring what it is that you buy. That's what I want to do. I think that's what everybody wants to do. And frankly, do whatever people want to do as grown people, because I really feel like, you know what? I'm not trying to please any grown people, but I am going to, from my platform, in a news context, let people know the fallout of that behavior. And it is what it is. You could do whatever you want to do, So I'm not telling you not to go fast, but when I'm doing it, I'm not doing it where other people are there with me. I'm the only person that can get hurt from what it is that I'm doing, Johnny. I'm not out here trying to hurt other people with my fun, with me playing with experimental Chinese toys.
Bro, don't even give me that. I mean, look at you right now. I mean, you're ripping on the sidewalks. Like, I see you hopping across medians. I mean, what do you even think, bro? You have some righteous, high horse mindset about you, Johnny. You really need to take it down a notch, bro.
Okay, look, Johnny, before you get to being a douchebag to me about all of the things that you were saying, I think you need to go back and remember, or either just go back and look at the camera footage that you're sitting here talking about, and you'll notice that every single time that I do something that is exciting or a deviation from a traditional path of travel, just straightforward, I am doing it because I am making way for other people, whether they are on a bicycle, on a scooter, a car, anything like that. I make it about everybody else for every step of the way, Johnny. And don't you ever act like that's not what I'm doing.
Damn, Johnny, yo, just peel back and chill, bro. Peel back and chill. Just don't get too comfortable, man. Because when you get too comfortable, you know it's going to happen. You know what happens, bro. So I know you think you got it all tight, figured out, but you need to pay attention. Even if you think you got it figured out, bro. You need to pay attention. Oh, can I tell him about the tire, dude? I want to tell him about the stock tire.
Okay, I'll give that to you. Honestly, you're right. I need to make sure that I'm constantly vigilant, and I need to never get comfortable. And I think that that's a great message for everybody at home as well. Got to stay vigilant. Got to stay on top of it. You know? And yeah, bro. You can tell him about the tire, for sure.
So, like, most people are like, oh, the stock tire, bro, it's unstable. There's no way I can maintain speed on the stock tire, especially on the roads. It's just too hard. It's too difficult. It wants to train track, man. It's just crazy. This is what everybody else has been saying. But, dudes, after 1,000 miles, I still haven't had to swap it. And dudes, I love it. It's perfect for carving. It's got a great curvature. It's got a great rebound to it. It's excellently gripped, dudes. Smooth transitions. No weird slipping behavior. 10 out of 10. Would buy again?
Okay. So yeah. Yeah. It's a good tire. So my rocket, what makes my rocket unique from every other rocket on the planet, no, not every other rocket, but what I've done with my rocket, I've got the gripster pedals on there, okay? Absolutely love those things. The gripster pedals provide so much more real estate. You can see them. They're that bright pink kind of lip coming out from underneath the front side of my foot on the back. It matches my sink pads, and the gripster name, it truly means grippy, guys. Like, it does not let your foot slide laterally at all. I mean, like, once you lock in, you are locked in. It gives you that wonderful feeling like you're actually wearing it. It just, and especially if you've got the sink pads positioned in such a way that really press your foot down into the pedals, and then you've got the slight dihedral adjustment angle on the pedals as well, then you get this wonderfully snug sensation that just keeps you locked in, anchored into the wheel. And for me, I really wanted that black and pink setup. I really wanted that nice, fresh look. And I thought that it went really great with the stock red that was there already. You know, the red handle that they have, I just thought that the pink went real nice with it. Also, I've got the PID Zoom LED underglow lights. And for me, like, that just completes it all. Like, in the PID Zoom lights, like, there's a button, so you have like a controller with all of the lights that it comes with, and a button that you can press that makes all the lights come on at one time, so you don't have to go around individually turning off all the lights or turning them all on at the same time. It's just easy. It's convenient. So, you know, it's awesome. And with that setup, with those pedals and with those pads, it doesn't just feel like you're riding it. It feels like like you're wearing it, and it feels like kind of like rollerblades mixed with a hovercraft, and definitely that pink glow. It's like I'm riding on an electric cloud at night. It's the coolest thing ever. Straight up, it's like X Games energy all day. Look, man, I love so many things about this wheel that I have no problem telling you when I think something is stupid. And to be honest, man, that charging port is a stupid hot mess. The flap, it feels cheap, like it could rip off at any time, and it should have been a screw cap, honestly, at the very least, or something different. It's only got one port, and I believe as of now it's an 8 amp max charging because the batteries get upset when they get hot. I personally only charge at 5 amps, and because it's a 1500 watt hour battery, it really doesn't take a long time to charge it. You never really ride it down past 50%. And so, charging up that extra 750 watt hour, whatever, it just doesn't take that long, even at 5 amps. However, it is still a dumb design in my opinion, and it is worth noting that if you ride the wheel ridiculously fast and you drain the battery at a high rate, and then you go to try to plug it in, it's not going to charge for a little while. It seems to me like you have to let it cool off. That's some kind of safety mechanism, I guess, maybe that's built in, but it's a fact, and it doesn't charge if you do that. So that's worth considering if you're the sort of person that likes to fast charge and then ride it ridiculously fast and then fast charge and then ride it ridiculously fast again. It's not the sort of wheel that you're going to be able to do that with. You gotta take some time. It takes probably like 15-20 minutes before it's ready to try to charge after an intense riding session. I had heard some things about the trolley handle when this wheel was first starting to circulate. So the height of the trolley handle is okay with me, but over time I feel like it works just barely. The latch is really far down low, so when you can pull the trolley handle up, no problem. But the way that the latch works to get it to go back down, if you're wearing gloves, it makes it to where that you just kind of push it back down, and it's kind of hard to do that. And so it's like you have to take off your glove in order to make that fit, in order to make that work, to like pull up on the little lever handle for it, and that's just kind of annoying. So for what it's worth, the handle isn't big enough for like a full hand grab, so it's like you're not able to stick your whole hand in there. It's kind of like your fingers mostly, like 3 fingers kind of a situation. So in terms of portability, definitely some points lost there. And at the end though, I mean, like in the sum of all things for me, this wheel kind of adds up to just joy. Like whenever I'm riding this wheel, my capacity for enjoyment feels endless. It's not about speed. It's not about range. It's about the moment. This wheel fills you with that curious, youthful energy. Like if you were ever into rollerblades or into skating, skateboards, it's gonna fill you with that skate park energy again. If you were like me and you grew up on the X Games, inline skating, BMX stuff, jump parks, grinding rails, downstairs, parking lots, all that stuff. This wheel is a logical continuation of that childhood joy and that X Games sort of legacy. It's not just transportation, I mean, it is that too, but it comes across as permission to play, to play again. Now, as much as I love this wheel, I have to acknowledge that, not every wheel is for every single person. And there's some clear factors involved with this wheel that make it prohibitive for certain people. And I feel like it's only fair to mention that. So if you're the sort of person that likes to go for those 50, 80, 100-mile rides, this may not necessarily be the best suited for you. And I'll go out on a limb and say I actually don't think that it's well suited for you. If you're the sort of person that wants a bunch of luxury features, this may not do it either in terms of like, Ride Connect, GPS tracking and all that stuff. I mean, it's got speakers, sure, but there is certainly a certain amount of finish that's lacking, and it'll come across to people who are used to that sort of premium feel, If you want a high stability wheel for speed, if you want like a highway stable wheel, this is probably not going to be it either. This isn't the sort of wheel that you want to be riding at 50 miles an hour regularly. While it can ride 45 to 50 miles an hour, ideally that's not what it's going to be doing, you know? If you're a sort of person that likes to ride trails only, this is also going to be a big no-no for you, you know, because the 14-inch wheel, even though the suspension is awesome, you're going to beat it to hell riding on trails. And depending on if those trails are flow, tech, or mountainous, you're going to have some issues. You know, now on a flow trail that's nice and smooth, this wheel will be A1. And if that's all you've got in your community, then maybe it's something worth considering. If you're the sort of person that doesn't want to have to go back over a wheel that you purchased and have to tighten all the bolts for safety, then maybe this wheel is not for you. It's definitely something to consider, okay? Now, who is this wheel absolutely for? If you're an urban rider that has nothing but city every which way you go and every which way you look, this is for you. If you were a trick rider, if you like to do 180s, if you are even working towards a 360, if you like doing, you know, smaller ramps and hops and stairs and playing around inside of every single thing that you have, you like trying to do the one-legged riding, you like trying to do all of these things backwards, whatever it is, this wheel is for you, for trick riders. If you like to bonk and hop like crazy, if bonking and hopping is half of what you like to do while you're riding, this is going to be all the wheel that you need. If you're the sort of person who isn't out there trying to ride forever, but it's more of a joy per mile sort of thing, you like to get it out as quick and as hard and as fast and as powerful as you possibly can, well, this wheel is for you. For people who are upgrading from an EUC as a utility to like EUC as an expression, it's something worth considering. You know, so if up to now EUC has been more of a utilitarian sort of commuting thing for you, maybe this is your introduction into like playing a little bit more. And I think that, you know, taking on EUC as an expression may be something that you'd like to do, you know? And I think probably the most important person is for anyone who forgot why they started riding, because this wheel will bring you all the way back there. It's about the novel curiosity, the exploration, the fun, the joy, you know, finding out something brand new at every corner. I think that's what's important. So clearly, there's a lot of things that I like about the wheel, and there's a couple of things that probably need to be changed. If I were an engineer, there's a couple of things that I would fix. I would make sure that the bolts were all thread locked from the factory. You know, make sure that they have some Loctite, all right? You know, I would make sure that the charging port flap was done in a little bit more competent way. I just don't like how it's done. It feels cheap, it feels janky, and it makes me feel like the charging port is a little bit exposed. I would definitely redo the trolley handle, at least take some attention into the closing mechanism. The way that it clicks to close, that little finger thing is just, it's so annoying. I definitely also think that, you know, it needs a stronger headlight mounting, whether it has Loctite to do that or it's just an entirely different bracketing system. I think that that would be valuable and viable for this wheel. Things that I would say do not change, the things that shine and stand above everything else. Do not change the motor. Keep the motor, okay? Keep the suspension. It is absolutely insane. The motor and the suspension together are just gorgeous. The power curve that they've applied for the C40, keep it. Don't worry about it. You know, I don't know how they could make the firmware better, honestly. The weight, I love it. Doesn't need to be changed. It's the perfect weight to me. I don't want it any lighter because I want it stable at speed, and I don't want it any heavier because I want to be able to pick it up in between the jumps. You know, the tire diameter is epic. I always wanted a high-performance 14-inch wheel for a very long time. This is what I've wanted. This is what I've dreamed for. And I was so disappointed when I got the Falcon to test that I didn't think that the 14-inch wheel category had anything for me. Boy, oh boy, am I so happy I gave this wheel a try. And the tire profile. A lot of people didn't like it. I love it. I think it's worth exploring. Don't just get the wheel and assume that it's not going to be for you. I think it's magical. So definitely give it a go. Give it a check. Check it out, guys. I think it's worth it. And last but not least, do not change the soul of this wheel. Do not change the ambitions of this wheel. This wheel is absurdly fast for what it is. This wheel has so much go vertically for what it is. And when I say for what it is, because of the package. the package of what it is. It's so small, it shouldn't be able to do all of the supernatural things that it can do. So look, this wheel should not exist, but it does. It's imperfect, true enough. It rattled, it needed to be tightened. It demands love, absolutely. But in return, you get some of the most pure, fun, unfiltered EUC joy that any wheel has ever delivered. If your collection doesn't have a 14-inch wheel in it, it is not complete. And if your 14-inch wheel isn't the Rocket, you are seriously missing out on one of the most fun EUC experiences ever made. I can't thank you guys enough for being here, for watching the videos, for liking, for subscribing if you subscribe, just for being here, for commenting. This community is so cool, and it only exists because you're here, and for that, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And to you members, to you guys, to you crazy people out there who care to support me just a little bit more than a little bit, I just can't thank you enough from the bottom of my heart. You guys are so cool. My gratitude is deep, guys. Thank you all so much. If you want to get yourself an Extreme Bull Rocket, if you want one of these wheels that I've been doting on for like the last half an hour, then check out Next Gen Mobility. Rob will get you sorted, and he will keep you sorted for many moons to come. If you'd like to support the channel further, there are some affiliate links down below, and you can use my affiliate link for Next Gen Mobility, and I will get a little bit of a kickback from that. I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you again. Have a wonderful day, and thank you so much. Until next time, it's been your boy, Johnny.